Welcome back. I'm Tom Hewitt, and this is News 13's Eye on the Election. I'm here with Jim Matherly, who's running for City Council. And Jim, you're running again for City Council. You've just served a full term there. And for people who don't know you as well, maybe just give us a little bit on your background and why you decided to run again for City Council.
Well, thanks for having me on tonight, Tom. I appreciate that. Yeah, I actually started serving on the City Council in 2010. It wasn't my first election. I ran for Borough Assembly 12 years ago. Politics has always been in my family. I was born and raised here in Fairbanks, and as a young man, my mom was involved in Wally Hickle campaigns, as was my father. So I walked door to door in the 60s and 70s for Wally Hickle, and I've always been involved through chamber, through school, through my work, through my jobs. So I found it a natural extension to go for the City Council, and it leads me to a second term, which I hope to get some votes in October.
The Polaris building downtown is an issue that's proved divisive both for the City Council and for the city administration. And even in this year's city mayor's race, it's been a point of contention between the two candidates, with Vivian Stiver saying she'd give developer Mark Marlowe more time to come up with a plan if he doesn't meet the September 30th deadline, where John Eberhardt saying that the 4 extensions Marlowe's already been given to do something with the property are enough, and if he doesn't have a plan by September 30th, he would pursue demolition. What's your take? What would you do with the Polaris building?
Boy, that's a huge albatross, isn't it? And it just sticks out in the middle of Fairbanks. I've been very hard on Mark Marlowe. We're having a work session with him next Monday. He's had a lot of chances, okay? He's brought a lot of buildings back to life in Anchorage. That's correct. But this one, he's not really moving on. I've kind of said publicly, and even at the meetings, that he's not making it a priority for Fairbanks like I think he should. I think we've given him enough extensions. I personally would like to see it either starting the renovation soon, within this year, by the end of this year. That was kind of the plan earlier in the year when we spoke to him. Or we have no choice but to look at taking it and doing something with it, and it keeps falling apart. And the longer it goes, Tom, it's a double-edged sword. The more it costs to either upgrade it, or the more it costs to take it down. And if we have to go to the state, get state money to help take that thing down and make room for something else, that's the path I think we should be on.
Energy issues are obviously huge in Fairbanks and the surrounding area. Right now, the Fairbanks Natural Gas and the Interior Gas Utility are arguing before the Regulatory Commission over which would be best to serve and bring gas to the borough. And within the city, of course, Fairbanks Natural Gas already is the regulated carrier. But there have been some residents who have been concerned that FNG hasn't been building out very quickly to residential users, and they've been focused more on the big box stores. And how confident are you that FNG will keep building out to those residential users, quickly enough for that to make a difference? And what role, if any, do you see the city as having in making sure that happens?
Well, FNG is a privately owned company, so they ultimately make the decision on getting it out to folks like me and you who live in the city. I was one of the city council members who voted to relinquish our power to the borough to form IGU. I believe in IGU. I think it's meant to be a facilitator to help move the conversation forward, not to own it, not to operate it, okay? Just to actually bring it to the most people. And I think what they have said, if I get it right, is bring it here the fastest, the cheapest, to the most people. FNG has shareholders to answer to. So even though they've got some things in place, they haven't hit enough businesses. I mean, they have not hit enough private individuals, just the businesses so far. It's monetary for them. It makes a profit. That they have to go where the profit's being made. IGU is there to look out for the citizens and the citizenry. That's why it's a combination of both North Pole, Fairbanks, and the borough.
What's an issue, if there is one, that you feel like the City Council should focus more on that they haven't been spending a lot of time on currently?
Well, if I had to think about something, I've been really proud the way that our mayor and the council together have kept spending pretty low and a pretty good amount of money in the bank. Since we don't know what's going to be happening in the next couple of years with energy, with costs, with people unfortunately moving out of the city, I think that the City Council can help the most people by saving a large amount of money, keep money in the hopper for projects that we need. Don't spend too much. We became debt-free, and we actually paid off our debt while I was on the council, and we were very proud of that. I think one of the things that the city should vote on the city should carry forward on, and we'll know who we're going to deal with when who becomes Mary, Vivian, or John. We should be able to have enough money in the bank and to spend the money wisely and to continue to be good stewards of the cash.
You're running unopposed for this seat, so it's probably a fairly foregone conclusion that you will win this race unless there's some just, extremely charismatic dark horse candidate that comes out of the woodwork and gets an enormous write-in vote. But that's, not realistic. I guess, how would you convince voters that you are the person that they would have voted for even if you had an opponent or two?
Anybody who knows me personally knows me as being very approachable and very involved. I'm also very half full, almost to a fault. I have always been involved with Fairbanks business leadership, either through banking or through politics or through my present job or through my work with a lot of nonprofits and emceeing and raising money for different organizations. Service is in my blood, actually. I've been a servant all of my adult life, either through my church or through my home or my friends and now my city. To be unopposed, you could look at it two different ways. One, nobody wants to run for city council at all, or they trust me enough to know that they think I'm doing a good job, that I remain approachable, that I remain positive, and hopefully do good things for the most amount of people on the city.
All right. Well, I think that's about all the time we have, but thank you very much, Jim, for coming in. For the rest of you, don't go away just yet. We've got Jamie Schwartzwald coming up next with sports.